Alright everyone, I got another keychain knife here to quickly review. This one came off AliExpress. Actually, I think all my knives come from there. But, you know, if you can find it cheaper on Amazon or eBay, go ahead, do so. So it comes with this stainless or chromed, maybe it's chromed, split ring. Which is nice because this one is worthless. These things I've had break, so don't use that if you want to keep your object. Alright, so this one has a titanium body, by the way, and then a stainless blade of sorts. And then it looks like a torque screw here on both sides. Alright. And then a nice lightweight giant cutout there for that key ring, I suppose. And also a bottle opener. Oh boy, I gotta get a soda or something like that. Anyways, you got a pretty big fingernail thing here. You'll see I don't have any fingernails today. So you can still open it because that thing's pretty big, so that's nice. Getting to this point was easy, but this is a lot harder because this is the lock, I guess. It's literally going to push this away. Let's see if we can do that. Let me hit focus here. Now that's as good as I can focus it. There we go. So it pushes, and then it snaps a little bit. It actually wasn't that hard to do. So, but as you can see, it's not a very strong lock. So that you shouldn't be probably carving wood or pushing down on the tip of this very much because it might close on your finger. Right? That blade is long enough. I think it could cut your finger quite a bit. What I do like though is the straight edge. So it's very much like a utility knife, and it's pointed so it can pierce tape. So I primarily use these things to cut boxes. But first let's see the dimensioning here. So tear out. The knife itself is 6.4 grams. With this ring is 7.5 grams or so. So overall length now is about 65 millimeters, and thickness wise it's actually quite thick, 4.5. The blade thickness is 1.3. The effective blade length is around 24, I would say. So hopefully that is helpful for you. Alright, good old test of the good old box. So here we go. So puncturing tape, very easy. And it's long enough that you can get into the little air gap there of this cardboard. Seems very sharp. In fact, I shouldn't cut this. I should do my paper test first. I'm not a professional knife reviewer. So let's cut some paper here. Oh yeah, I had the impression it was very sharp, but you know the tape is a lot easier to cut when you're piercing it like that. But that's pretty good for fresh out of the box, I think, for the price of this knife. Granted, I am pulling the blade out a little bit. That might help. But here, if you pierce this paper, yeah, this is I think it's a fantastic edge for the price. It seems great for me. Again, I'm not a professional knife collector. I'm just basically just buying up these small knives just to see, kind of out of curiosity, which one is the best for the money. To cut boxes though, not to cut real things. Alright, so in fact, let me get some another box. There's actually something in this box. I don't want to cut it. So here's just an empty box. Now, because the blade's so wide, it's going to have a hard time cutting through because it has to displace sideways this cardboard, but actually it's quite good because the edge is sharp. Some other knife I tried, I think it didn't even cut through, it just came out. But because this thing pierces so easily with that tip, yeah, so that's really good. Very nice. Alright, there's a bamboo chopstick I like to cut. I still don't think it's a good idea to whittle with this. I guess if you're always pushing away with like this for detail work, that's fine. But if you're going to be doing something like this, I really think it's going to possibly collapse on you. Alright, so not for that purpose in my opinion. Yeah, not that hard to open and close once you get the idea, the experience of the tension there. And that tension I think is strong enough that I don't think this could possibly open by accident in your pocket, because the blade, see, it's actually recessed right there. So unless something in your pocket possibly gets into this gap and tries to pull it out, which I kind of have a hard time thinking it'll happen unless you carry 50 keys around with you. But who carries keys? I'm going to guess the majority of people don't actually carry more than like 2 or 3 keys with them at a time now. But that's just me anyways. So anyways, titanium, that's never going to rust. It's never going to corrode. Yeah, the stainless blade, I suppose it could if you left it in salt water. It is oiled a little bit even from the factory. But it doesn't seem like you need to add oil to that pivot. It seems to work fine as it is. And then I guess you can also just use this. But frankly, if I was going to buy a titanium knife like this, I would also buy a titanium loop, which I've coincidentally reviewed before. So look up titanium split ring. Maybe that's a search term you can find reviews on. Anyways, it's small enough again. Oh, one thing I didn't do is to mention this thing's folded. It's only 40 millimeters folded, so it's quite small indeed, I think, and quite light. So I think it's actually a very useful keychain thing, or in my case, I might put it on my wallet. Oh boy. Alright, so I went and just bought some soda water here. Cuts through that plastic pretty easily, being a sharp edge. Now, opening this thing, first let's close that. You could use the key ring, you know, to actually do this. But I want to simulate a real situation. I think most people are going to be too lazy to take this off their key ring. So I'm going to actually put it on this mock-up of a key ring. This is one of those titanium split rings I mentioned earlier. So you pull it to the side and then you swoop it on that way. And being titanium, it'll never rust. And I don't think they fatigue either. But anyway, so now with the bigger key ring, I have even more ability to leverage. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'm not even pulling it from the right side. But here we go. I guess I'm not. Well, you pull it up from this way. So I guess I want to hold this down. I'm noticing an issue. It doesn't really have much of a point there. It's having a hard time actually grabbing onto this edge. Just to show you that edge there. Alright. So I think most people would put it on a table, and now I'm trying to open this and it won't, because this gap is too narrow. It's possible. See, I caught it. I angled it now, so only this corner is getting into this cap, and that moved it a little bit. But in general, this is a pain. Let me try it from. I am going to remove it because I don't think it's going to work effectively on a ring. But I don't even think it's going to work effectively on its own. But we may as well try it. I guess if you have a quick release ring. Yeah. Alright, so. Yeah, that's wishful thinking. It's a real shame because they had the material here. They could have made this hole smaller, I think. Had this groove wider and deeper. They could have easily designed a better bottle cap. Maybe if you use 2 hands, it's just that some people don't have 2 hands. So with 2 hands, I'm like forcing this up in there, and it worked, as you can see. But if you have a physical impairment, and also it's not very wide, so you're gonna have to do that twice. You have to relocate it over here, bend that cap, still a 3rd time. Okay, so if anyone opens bottle caps, I don't know if you want to spend that. That would drive you crazy. I know that would drive me crazy, taking 10 seconds to open up a bottle cap when there are other ones that just do it right within 1 second. Anyways, I'm gonna pour some drink mix into that and make a cheap soda. So the plus side of this design, the knife is actually sharp, as knives should be. it also has a point. It has a straight edge, so it's very good at cutting boxes. So that's primarily what I do. And it's very light, and it's small enough compared to some actual keys. Right, here's a regular like house key, and then a little mailbox key. So it's quite compact. And it's titanium, the body, so it shouldn't rust. Stainless steel, it's going to resist rust for quite a while. And you don't need to adjust anything. I wouldn't mess with those screws. The one warning again is that blade lock, although effective for cutting boxes, I wouldn't put too much force on this because it's not a very strong lock. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next knife review.